Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Fignuts podcast. This is episode number 295 overall. If you're keeping track by season, this is season 7, episode number 20. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And I stumbled a little bit there. I must be out of practice. This is what happens when we take a week off, you know?
It happens. It happens. This has been a really stupid year, so we'll go.
I also have a little bit of a frog in my throat, so if I cut out suddenly, it's because I'm coughing. So, Craig, how was your week?
My week was good. We had our little trip to Mystic.
Yep, we had gone
today. Today I went back to work and everything is stupid again. So I guess it's normal.
Yeah, that's pretty much describes my week at work too. Yeah. But football is here to give us a distraction. No matter how bad our seasons have gone, many of you may not be in the fantasy playoffs, but that's why DFS exists. But I get ahead of myself. Let's start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking?
So tonight, to celebrate the stupidness, and because I have no beer, I have a glass of Woodford Reserve.
Oh, that's not exactly a step down.
No, it's not. It's just different.
Woodford Reserve is good shit. You were the one who turned me on to Woodford's. I'm not a bourbon guy. I'm a Scotch guy.
You are. And you got me into scotches. See, it works out.
And Craig repaid the debt and gave me an interest in bourbon. Mm-hmm. I just don't have. I think Craig is much more interested in bourbon than Scotch, but he tolerates Scotch, and I'm the exact opposite. I'm much more into Scotch and bourbon, but I tolerate
I don't
bourbon.
know, man. That Oban you had, that was.
See, that's the thing. You haven't had. Good. The problem is you just haven't had a variety of really good scotches.
I've only had a handful of scotches, and some of them are much stronger tasting than others.
So is the Oban stronger? Is that what you look for, or you look for just smoothness?
I think since I'm used to bourbon / whiskey, I think I'm expecting smoothness, and not all scotches do that at first.
Have I ever given you the Macallan?
I think maybe.
That's because that's my favorite scotch. That Oban I gave you wasn't even 12-year-old. It was it was a 14-year-old Oban. It was a 14-year-old Oban.
Like the scotch that I brought that never made it back from Sean's, like I liked it, but that first initial peatiness like just hit you in the face.
See, I like the see. This is where, and this is what drives us in beer too. Different tastes can find different things that they like. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can tolerate porters and stouts. I can't.
Yep.
I just can't do it. My wife can do sours. Sean's wife can do sours. Sean can drink anything.
Yeah, he's an outlier. So.
Yeah, but he's going to be our outlet because one of the guys I know on Twitch is threatening to send me a bottle of the Amaranth beer, the legendary one that's going to be made out of yeast from you know where. And I'm not going to drink that, but I can hand it to our podcast equivalent of Mikey, and Mikey will eat it, and hopefully Mikey will like it. So. We'll see. I have a holiday ale open right now, but I have a Fox Farm Layers on tap because we did go to Fox Farm this week. We took Sean to Fox Farm. He liked it. His biggest problem is that they're not a tasting room. Fox Farm Brewery in where the hell are they? In Salem, Connecticut.
Is it just a farm?
It's an old farm. It is. It's an old farm. The farmhouse is where the brewery proper is, and then there's several buildings that they use for like spontaneous ales and stuff. They do a lot of spontaneous ales, but his biggest problem is they don't want people hanging out all day because it's a very small tasting room, so they limit you to 3 pours.
Okay,
you can only have 3 beers there.
I mean that's fair, I guess, if it's a little place.
It's fair, except there were 7 beers on the list he wanted to try.
Oh, see, well, that's a problem then.
I said, well, get half pours. It says you can have up to 6 half pours. And he goes, no, I want to try this. Okay, whatever.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. If they let you do 6 half pours.
Right.
And there was 7 beers, I'm sure you or Christy would have let him taste the 7th beer if you ordered it.
One of the beers was a rare spontaneous ale where a half pour counts as a full.
Oh.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like you only get like 10 ounces or something like that. You go to when we were in Mystic this weekend. I had the 12th anniversary ale by Grayscale. Gray Sale in Rhode Island, and it was a 10-ounce pour that counted as a full pour. It was one of those things.
It was also 11.5%.
It was also 11.5% and did not taste like it was 11.5%. And I'm glad I only had one of those. So, but yeah, many good beers we tried. It was very nice. Sean enjoyed himself. And this Friday night, what is today?
Today's Wednesday. It's the 13th of December.
So Friday, December 15th. At 7 p.m. on my Twitch channel, we are going to do a holiday watch party, and Sean is going to sit in movie to be determined. But I'm pushing hard for the Star Wars holiday special because he's never seen it. And man, is that a spunky load of noodles. You know, if you've never seen it, oh, there's the dog. If anybody hears a dog, it's because my neighbor leaves their dog alone. It's not his dog, it's his girlfriend's dog, but when they go out, they leave the dog here, and the dog hears any sort of sound and assumes something is coming to kill it. So if you hear a dog barking in the distant background, I apologize. Yep, there he is again. But yeah, so we'll be doing that on the Twitch channel, the Howard Moon BG Twitch channel, just to toss in that little promo. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to Burning Hot Takes. I only have one. So let me do mine.
Sure. Yeah, I only had one too, really. So
all right, that's good. That's fine. It's that time of year, friends, where everyone appears on the injury report.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So today I had several back-to-back meetings at work, and I left my phone in my office as I went to meetings. Probably about 4.5 hours in total. When I came back, I had about 20 notices about players missing practice today. So I'm just going to run down a couple of the names. Devontae Adams, listed as a questionable because of an illness. Josh Jacobs, quad, was held out today. Keenan Allen has been already ruled out. Tyler Boyd was limited. Jamar Chase was limited. Greg Dulcich returned to practice today. Deontay Johnson with his knee completely missed practice. Najee Harris practiced. Dontavian Wicks did not practice. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Taysom Hill. I could keep going. My question for you, Craig, are you worried at this point in the season because there's so many guys that rest just because the season is long? Should you be worried about guys missing and limiting practice automatically? Or is it situational at this point because sometimes teams are just going to find an excuse to rest a guy?
Yeah, I think at this time of the season, and depending on the team and their record and who they're playing, like if they know they're going to get into the playoffs, like, I don't know, pick a random team. Like Philadelphia, for example, is likely going to get into the playoffs. So if they need to rest someone this week, and just say that they're quote unquote injured, I can see them doing it. So wouldn't
great
shock
example.
me.
Great example. Chris Olave missed almost the entire week of practice last week. And they said, oh, it's due to illness. And then he played on Sunday. Magically, he appears on the report today with an ankle injury.
Oh.
Is he hurt? Are they resting him? Who the hell knows? DJ Moore had one of the best games of his year last week. Has an ankle injury. Let's see. Marquise Brown missed practice today. Brian Robinson Jr. missed practice today. Dalton Schultz got back today. Nico Collins held out. Demario Douglas came back. I mean, there's one like Ramondre Stevenson. That's not shocking, right? We knew he had a significant injury, but like there's these guys that just magically appear on the CJ Stroud. He's in the concussion protocol.
Yes.
No one expects him to just show up at practice today and be playing. But there are guys that you're like, okay, wait a minute, what happened here? It's just Isaiah Pacheco not at practice Wednesday. The dude's getting surgery. If he were at practice, I'd be concerned. I don't get it. It's just weird to me. But the reason why I question, don't overreact. Pay attention to the signs. Have a backup plan. In one of my dynasty leagues, My backup, my starting quarterback is Justin Herbert. So now I got to go to my backup plan. So I look at my bench. You know who my backup plan was?
Gardner Minshew.
Daniel Jones.
That's sad.
Also dead. So now in a dynasty league, I got to go to the waiver wire. And I get there, and the best available quarterback is Joe Flacco.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Aiden O'Connell.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And the funny thing is, the reason Joe Flacco is there is because I released him during the offseason. That's the only reason he's on the waiver wire, so I welcomed him back.
Oh, good for you.
And then immediately read that he got sent to the practice squad yesterday morning, which appears to be procedural. Appears to be procedural. Has to do with something with contractual business, but still. So don't overreact. Pay attention, but don't overreact to injury reports. If people log practices, I go by, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Oh, Roddy White. I just had a who's that guy moment with Roddy White. Roddy White used to say, he's a big fantasy football guy. He used to come on the Guru all the time. Am I saying the right name? Roddy White, right? The Atlanta guy?
Yeah, that's right. Right?
Yeah, okay. For some reason, I got Roddy McDowell in my head, and now that's an actor. Roddy White used to come on the Guru and say, listen, don't pay attention to injury reports. If I practice on Friday, I'm playing.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He was like, listen, sometimes the teams just sit there and go, whoa, 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 whoa. You ran like 80% of the routes last week. Just you're gonna take Tuesday and Wednesday off. He goes, we'll limit you on Wednesday or Thursday, but just don't push it. He goes, if I practice in full on Friday, I'm playing on Sunday.
I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense. So don't overreact is why I was going with this question. All right, what have you got for me?
So for me, and I don't. You remember Cinch listens to this while he's driving his truck, so go easy.
Yeah, don't make him drive off the road.
The reports have been coming out this week that since the Germany game, Robert Kraft decided that he is done with Bill. And the Patriots will be looking for a new coach come the off season. Now, a couple weeks ago, there was that picture which weirdly showed Mike Vrabel, who used to be a Patriot, who is now head coach of the Titans, sitting in the owner's box with Robert Kraft.
Yep.
And clearly they've known each other since Kraft drafted him, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a little odd that since he's the coach of another franchise, he's sitting in an owner's box with an owner? It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
It's not, and I'll tell you why. You got to remember the context of that day. They specifically added him to the Ring of Honor that week because the Titans were off. Mm-hmm. That was a planned event. He was going to be there regardless. All the pictures people are circulating. Oh my God, Mike Vrabel is sitting with the owner of the Patriots. Oh my God, look at this. He's wearing the goddamn Ring of Honor jacket in the picture, people. He's wearing the jacket. It's like Mike Vrabel was like, I don't want people to misconstrue this. I'm here because they're putting me in their Hall of Fame.
Does that mean in conversation?
Oh, yeah, of course that stuff comes up in conversation. So, Mike, how are things in Tennessee? Well, Mr. Kraft, it's been a rough year. I'm trying to transition to a new quarterback. My defense is struggling, and my running back's really old. Yeah, that's... we've struggled here too. That's why I'm thinking about making a change. you know a lot about change, Mike? Oh, I know a lot about change, Mr. Kraft. Well, change can be good sometimes, Mike, even for Tennessee. Does that conversation happen? Yeah, not in the bizarre kind of like, why are you talking like that, Mr. Kraft kind of way, but it might have happened. I don't know. I would not be surprised if they move on from Bill. I'm surprised that it's leaking that they want to move on from Bill because Robert Kraft hates the media. Hates them. Every time it's like, Tom Brady's decided to retire, he would send out 75 press wires condemning whoever made such an accusation.
Yep.
But he hasn't said anything now.
No, yeah, he definitely hates the attention. I mean, he loves massage parlors, but definitely hates the media attention.
So. Yeah, well, there's no media in the massage parlors. They get screened out at the door. Typically speaking, I mean, that's him and Deshaun Watson. I mean, when they got nothing better to do, go see a massage pro. I don't know. But yeah, I would not be surprised they move on from Bill. I don't think Vrabel's an automatic. What I will say is this: Kraft is very calculated. If he didn't have a short list in his head, he would not be thinking this. And maybe he isn't thinking this. This is all rumor. But I think Belichick is on his last year. What do you think about all this? While I open my second beer.
Yeah, I think Bill, along with the rest of the Patriot fans, got used to winning. And most people, under a certain age, don't remember what it was like when the Patriots were bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that they're bad like early 90s bad, but, Cinch remembers. He remembers. He's gripping his steering wheel really hard right now.
Scott Zolak. Oh my God. Should we just run down the list of bad Patriot quarterbacks?
We can try.
I'm working on it.
There's Drew Bledsoe was not a bad quarterback.
He wasn't. They just weren't ready. Didn't have the pieces around him, But go on, finish your point, and then we'll play this game.
Where the hell was I going with that? But yeah, I'm not surprised there's all this talk because, watching Bill over the years, I'm sure it's killing him inside, seeing, looking up at the scoreboard or seeing their record. I think other stuff probably happened over the years, like right before Brady started or before Brady left, that I think he probably is done. I mean, does he stay on as like a consultant? Maybe. A GM? Maybe. But I don't think he'll be the coach. I don't think, people have talked about, Bill O'Brien becoming the coach or Josh McDaniels. I think both of them have shown they cannot be head coaches. So I do not think it would be either one of those. If it is, I'd be very surprised. People say it's not really their fault, but owners look at what you do to a team while you're the coach, and both of them did not do very well. Mm-hmm. And McDaniels tried twice, and it didn't know. I think his NFL head coach options are over at this point.
Fair enough. All right. The New England Patriots came into being in 1971. Before that, they were the Boston Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their first quarterback as the New England Patriots was Jim Plunkett.
Hey.
Who would later go on to win 2 Super Bowls in Oakland/LA/Raiders. So, okay, Jim Plunkett, Steve Grogan, Neil Graff. These are all guys who started games for the Patriots.
I hope Cinch isn't driving right now.
Matt Cavanaugh, Tom Owen, Tony Eason.
Oh, yes.
Remember him?
I do.
Tom Ramsey, Bob Blyer, Doug Flutie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I got to move forward a little bit here. Mark Wilson. Tommy Hodson. Did we see Tommy Hodson already?
No, he did. No.
Tommy Hodson. Hugh Millen. Scott Zolak.
There we go.
Jeff Carlson. And then in 1993, they drafted Drew Bledsoe. And Scott Sekulies was the other one. But I mean, okay, again, don't forget, Steve Grogan was there forever.
Yeah, he was there a long time.
His first year was 1975, and he started games as late as 1989. No, sorry, 1990.
Oh, he was the quarterback in the Super Bowl with the Bears, wasn't he?
15 years he was there, and he started at least one game every year. Now, let's see. Where's his worst? All right, 1990, he started 4 games. They were bad. I'm looking for a year where they okay, what the hell? Tony Eason started 14 games in 1986, and then Steve Grogan came in because of injury and started 2. Okay, but the point is, before Drew Bledsoe, there wasn't a whole lot of hope in quarterback land. After Bledsoe was there, it was him, Scott Zolak because of injury, or Tom Brady. Tom Brady infamously started 14 games in 2001. But after Brady got there's Matt Castle at the year that Brady got hurt. There was one year where Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo each started 2 games. And then that's pretty much it. And then since then, Cam Newton, Brian Hoyer, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi. It's been kind of, I mean,
no, it has not been. Hasn't really been a good run overall.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. But I also think, so Cinch and I had a brief conversation this week in which I said, how unique is this? The Chiefs are playing the Patriots this week, and we both want the same outcome. He wants the Patriots to lose to improve their draft position.
Yep.
I want the Patriots to lose because we're only a game ahead of Denver in a division.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very real scenario where the Kansas City Chiefs don't even make the playoffs because they have been so bad. I think what lost 3 of their last 4 at this point.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have come back to earth. I think Sunday was a big reality check for them.
Yeah, they crap. I think ever since the fog weather game they had in Denver, whatever.
Yeah.
Ever
since the Denver loss.
Ever since then, I think they've been on a kind of downward slope overall.
And you saw the reaction out of Mahomes, which I'm not going to go into great detail. Yeah, he overreacted on the sideline. Yes, it was a penalty. My issue with that isn't that was a penalty that was called. My issue is that never gets called. Now, the source was quick to point out, well, there's been 13 of those calls this year. Yes, but last year there was only 3, and the year before there were 0. And there's a reason the NFL puts out that little guide from the competition committee at the beginning of the year talking about points of emphasis. Jesus, I'm only on my second beer. Points of emphasis. And I do believe, number one, we all saw Tony was offsides. Number 2, I do believe he failed to check with the official. It is the 4th quarter with 2 teams fighting tooth and nail in what is one of the best back and forth games of the entire season. You do not want that play determining the outcome. That's all I'm going to say about it. And when I heard the officiating crew called it egregious, that's a quote. Egregious? Really? Egregious is walking into a supermarket, pushing over 4 old ladies, taking $3,000 worth of merchandise and running out the door. This was the equivalent of walking in, holding up a single turnip and going, I'm taking this, and leaving. This was not egregious. If that's egregious, what's a borderline penalty? He was like 3 inches over the line.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, Patrick overreacted. I acknowledge that, but I still think that penalty could have been handled way better by the officials. Way better.
It could have, because I've seen things where people said that he was actually, over the course of the game, he did that like 3 times. Now,
and that's why you get a warning.
Did they tell him? I don't know. Did he check each of those 3 times? I don't know, but
both Reed and Mahomes both came forward and said, and other people backed them on this, when there's players who are close, the official standing nearest the sideline, because you know that coach always parks himself near that nearest official, right? Always wants to be in an official's ear. They usually say to him, you got to watch 19. He's very close, or he's over the line. We're going to have to call that. Reed was never warned. Now, that's not a requirement. That's a courtesy. But when you extend a courtesy to one team and you don't extend it to another, that's called bias. And that's my problem with this. If he was over the line, like you said 3 or 4 times in the game, then someone should have said something to Andy Reid before that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And
that's all I'm saying.
Like, and this is a total side thing because I watched that play a few times, like from different angles. I don't know who your right tackle is, but he needs to learn where he needs to line up.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I'm drawing a blank on his name. And
he lined up literally 3, like, his helmet was like near the hips of the guard, like back. Like, so they could have been called for like illegal formation because I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Was it left guard or right guard?
The right guard. So he would have been on top of the screen.
It was right tackle.
Right tackle. He would have been on top of the screen of that play.
Yeah, that's Jawan Taylor. Let me tell you something about Jawan Taylor.
Sure.
He is in 2023 the most penalized right tackle in the entire league.
Oh, okay. So this is normal for him. Okay, good.
He intentionally takes odd angles because he gets beat all the goddamn time. This dude holds because otherwise he would have no job.
Oh, sad.
When I'm watching a Chief game and I see, like, in the middle of a play, Patrick is looking around, Patrick scrambling a little bit, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a yellow flag go up. I don't even have to take my eyes off of Patrick. There's a better than 50% chance it's Jawan Taylor.
Okay. All right. So this is normal for him. So if he got called for that, you would have been okay then, as opposed to the offsides. He is
always doing this. He takes odd. So he was set back.
Yeah, his helmet was near the ass of the guard. That's how far back he was.
That's because he is so slow off the snap that he needs those extra 3 inches back to stay ahead of the guy he's trying to block.
He can't do that.
It's every time I see a flag go up, I say in my head, 74. That's his number. Every time. Holding number 74 offense. And I'm just like, nope, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. And he doesn't even bother to shake his head when he gets called.
Oh, he just knows it happened.
It's a known fact. He's gonna do this. The only holding call that shocked me, they called holding against Creed Humphrey, our center, and Creed Humphrey is a big load. He don't need to hold anybody, and it's just. I was like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I looked at it, and I'm like, all right, I see it. It's probably a penalty there. Okay, they're going to call that. No one. But I'm not shocked when Jawan Taylor gets called. I'm not. It's kind of what we call, Sunday. He is the most. He is the most penalized offensive lineman in the league this year. So I'm not surprised. So, all right, enough about my Chiefs. Let's move on to America's favorite game, which we have to do this week because we have a lot of contenders. So for those who don't know, America's favorite game is where I look at the lines and I look for lines that are over 50 or under 40, because over 50 means high scoring and scoring correlates to fantasy points. Now, the last couple weeks, Craig, it's been a sad state of affairs. We haven't had a lot of over 50s.
We have not.
We've had a few under 40s.
Mm-hmm.
This week we have a cornucopia of goodness. You have your traditional 3 strikes for each, and yes, okay, strikes carry over. So if you don't use all your 3 strikes on one side, you get to use 3 strikes on the other. Okay. This week we have 2 games over 50.
2 games.
2 games.
Okay.
And we have 7 games under 40.
Oh, Jesus.
So I don't like to tell you what to do.
Oh, God.
But if I were you, I would start with the over 50s, hoping I nailed them so I could save extra strikes for the 7 under 40s.
Let's go with the over 50s.
God. 2 games, and your clue is this. They are both 50.5, so they are not going to be easy.
Well, it's
and because we have so many under 40s, I'm not going to tell you the actual results of the ones you guessed wrong. I'm just going to tell you right or wrong.
Okay.
3 strikes. What's over 50?
Over 50, it's not going to be the New England game because it can't be.
Well, the old Chiefs could score 50 by themselves.
This Chiefs game, this Chiefs team in New England against this New England Patriot team, I don't think so.
No.
All right, so let's try Dallas at Buffalo.
So I was going to say, one of these made perfect sense. The other one was shocking. That's the easy one. Cowboys Bills is 50.5.
Okay.
50.5. I would be. The Bills have been so uneven. I got to put money on the Cowboys there. It's going to be Cowboys. But yes, that one is correct. You have 3 strikes left. There is one more game at 50.5.
Let's
this is the one I'll be like,
shot in the dark, because it's a divisional game and both of these teams are doing rather well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with Denver at Detroit.
Incorrect. That's strike 1.
Sad. Oh man, this is rough, man.
Normally, I would say to him, "Oh, that's a 42 or that's a 30." There's so many unders this week, I can't afford to give him any hints. So that's wrong. You strike one.
Let's go Philly Seahawks.
Strike two.
Oh, damn it.
Can he get the last one? Honestly, I don't think so. And that's not a judgment on you. I was just shocked this game was 50.5.
Wow. This is bad. Because God, I don't even know why I'm gonna say this.
Do it.
The Jets at Miami. I don't know.
And much like Carlos Beltran, you have been caught looking at strike three. The correct answer is Commanders Rams.
What?
Exactly, right?
How?
I don't know. I, honest to God, don't know.
There's no Cooper Kupp. Half of Washington is broken. How?
It's got to be Eric Bieniemy versus a very high-powered Rams offense where both defenses aren't really good.
All right.
But I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take the deed to my house, and I'm going to put it in the drawer of my desk, and then I'm going to take the other money and put it on the under of Commanders Rams. 50.5? It's the Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Craig strikes out on the first half, which does not give me a lot of hope for him to get 7 consecutive right. With not even consecutive, but 7 right out of his next 10 guesses for the under 40s. And I'll tell you right now, this ranges all the way from 34 to 39.
This is like every other game this week.
It's virtually every other game. So just start reading down the list.
Okay, let's just go. Let's go Baltimore, Jacksonville.
No.
Wow. Then every other game is an under.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm pulling. Hold on. Stand by. We'll do it live. Okay. Face ID, DraftKings. Yep. Strong authentication. There's your code. Okay. NFL. Baltimore, Jacksonville. Just making sure I didn't make a mistake here. Where the hell is that game? That's a 42.5.
Yeah, I picked the one not under 40.
Yeah, all right. So go back to the top of the list and just start reading. Because you got 2 strikes left, and it's not going to be that easy. I'll tell you. It's
right.
easy, but it's not easy because nobody has any buys left, right? So everybody's playing this week. So what is that? 30? That's 15 games. We already know Bills are out, the Rams are out, and the Jacksonville game is out. So that still leaves 12 games, and there's 7 on the list. So it's a high probability, but it's not a certainty.
All right, let's go Bears Browns.
Bears Browns is a 38.5. Congratulations, you gorgeous son of a bitch. You got that one right.
Yay.
2 strikes left. What's next?
Chargers Raiders.
Chargers Raiders is a 34.5. This is what happens when you only score, that's right, 0 against the Minnesota Vikings. 34.5, and the line is 30. So that means that's a lie, but I'm just joking. So the final score, that's 30-5. I'd be shocked, but oh my God. At the beginning of the season, when the Thursday night schedule was dreamt up, Chargers Raiders at this point in the season had to seem pretty attractive because the Raiders love to play spoiler, and the Chargers were looking like they might contend. And now you're like, what's going on Thursday night other than this? Because I don't want to watch this. They're both 5-8. The Chargers have the same record as the Raiders, and their quarterback is dead.
Yeah.
He died.
It is.
All right. Chargers Raiders correct. So you got 2. Still got 2 strikes left. You still got 5 more matchups.
Yeesh. Let's go Atlanta, Carolina.
34, the low of the week. Falcons Panthers is absolutely correct.
Okay.
4 games left, 2 strikes. Now I think he's hitting his roll. He's hitting his roll because he's using the process of elimination. He's hitting his roll.
All right, let's try 49ers Cardinals.
Strike 2.
Oh, sad.
49ers Cardinals. How is that not over 50?
Probably because of the 49ers defense.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? That's a 47.5. Where would you land on that? I can tell you got to pick one. Would you go under?
I think I would go under on that.
By the way, it's a 12.5 point spread. I'll take the under, and I'll take the Cardinals in the parlay. Give me a 10-6 final, baby. Give it to me. Give me a defensive battle. I'll take it. All right, so that's strike two. 4 games left. 1 shot.
God. Pittsburgh, Indiana.
Oh my God, strike 3.
Sad.
Where the hell are the Steelers on here? Because that sounds good to me. 42.5. 42.5. The correct answers are Giants, Saints at 39. Jets, Dolphins at 37. Chiefs, Pats at 37. Yep, these ain't Britt's Chiefs. And Texans, Titans at 38. Oh, and somewhere, Dinch is in his truck yelling, Giants at Saints! Giants at Saints! Because that's the only one on that list that made sense. Honestly, that's the only one that was like, okay, that's something we should do.
Yeah. What's the Minnesota-Cincinnati game?
Oh, hold on. I got to grab my phone. Hopefully this is... Oh, there it is. 40.5.
Oh.
40.5. How? Okay, that's a game to take the under two. Hold on. Who's the favorite in that game? Bengals are -3?
Really? After Minnesota's terrible game last week?
There's a chance the Vikings don't score 3 points at all. Okay, so there's 2 unders I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna take the Bengals -3 and I'm gonna parlay it with the under and just retire.
I agree with you. I agree.
All right, we're gonna move on to DFS. I do have to tell folks we did officially retire the metric. The metric, don't worry about the metric. He's living on a farm upstate. He's very happy. He has a lot of fields to run in. He's very, very happy up there. I just came to this conclusion when we started the metric. Don't forget, the metric predates this podcast. So we're talking about 9 years ago, where Craig and I sat down and I said, I've got an idea. And before everybody was publishing their own formulas, I was doing this. I'm not saying I was the first person to do it, but we were very early on in the onset of this. When we were doing that, nobody else was doing this kind of formula where it was points per dollar, which is what it essentially boils down to. Now everybody and their mother is doing points per dollar. So I just made the decision that we were going to kind of retire the metric, give him some well-deserved rest. So I'm looking at my projections. There are 2 quarterbacks that jump right off the page to me. 3, actually. Matt Stafford is 6K. I think he could get over 20 points because, again, that's going to be a high-scoring game. That's the Rams-Washington game, which is one of the few 50-pluses. I also like Brock Purdy because San Francisco is heavily favored there, but he's 6,800. Then my third choice is Jordan Love. I am so on the Jordan Love train. I'm just not completely sold he can do it week after week. So I'm probably going to pay $6,000 for Stafford and be fine with it. Craig, I got to run out the room. So talk to us for a minute about the quarterback picks you have.
So the picks you have, so I'm looking at games that Saturday, because don't forget there's Saturday games and Sunday games. So I'm looking at everyone. And sadly, you cannot pick CJ Stroud because he is in the concussion protocol, nor can you pick Trevor Lawrence. Also sad. Just to save money, I do kind of like Sam Howell against the Rams because he is 6,300. Jordan Love is right under him at 6,200. And then Russell Wilson, I'm kind of going like right in the middle of everything. Russell Wilson is 6,000 in playing Detroit. He's playing away though, but still, Russell Wilson is not having a terrible year. He's actually having a much better year than he did last year. Is it time for Broncos country? Maybe.
Russ has actually come on lately. That's
if they
been great.
win this week, maybe.
I want to. Listen, I survived the Elway era. where we had every year we had to worry about John Elway as a Chief fan. I don't want to survive the Russell Wilson era. So those are all good choices, though. I think I'm going to lean on Stafford, though. I think this could be a high flying. If this game is as high scoring as they think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of passing. So
yeah, I think so too.
All right, let's move on to running back. I just got to change tabs here on my spreadsheet, which does not want to load. It's a new computer. The computer's only a year old. Okay, so at running back, there is nobody who hits my value marker, but you know who was great this week and is close to value and I used and I won money? Let me take a 10-second timeout. The first 15 weeks of the season, I could not win a DFS pool if Jesus gave me the picks. But I could not miss on my prop bets.
Weird how that happens.
The last 2 weeks, I have not hit a single prop bet, but I have won money each of the last, 3 weeks in DFS. I have wagered and won more than I wagered. By a large margin. Oh, I'm just going to toss out $15 here. Oh, return 60. How did that happen? I don't understand it, but I'm shifting back into putting the majority of my betting into DFS. And one of the guys who made that possible last week was Saquon Barkley.
Remember him?
Yep. I've got him slated for 22 points this week. Now he's at 7,300. That's not quite to 3x, but it does make him the best value on the board at 7,300. I'm sitting there saying to myself, Saquon is 7,300. How the hell is Kyron Williams 7,500? How is Raheem Mostert 7,100? Well,
he's hurt.
And he's hurt. And I get it. Devon A-Chain is being limited, but still, I'm like, there are so many. Alvin Kamara's 8,600. I mean, Barkley's not the cheapest guy out there, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to probably roll with some shares of Barkley when I'm looking value. I hate to say this because you're going to be upset with me. You're going to be upset. I'm looking at either Zeke or Devin Singletary. I know you don't like Zeke.
You know what, though? After last week, someone has to run the ball.
Andre's not going to do it. And we just watched the Green Bay offense dismantle the Chiefs on the ground. 2 weeks ago, A.J. Dillon ran wild on them.
Yep.
So I'm probably going to have a couple shares of Zeke, but I would rather use Devin Singletary because he's a little bit cheaper. And if C.J. Stroud is out, that means I may lean on him a little more heavily. Who do you like this week at running back?
This week at running back, if I want to go super-duper cheap, it's funny because if I started this guy in our home league, I would have won this week. And that person would be Tajay Spears. Tennessee is using him more, even though they have Derrick Henry. And I know we said this last year, but I think Derrick Henry is on borrowed time in Tennessee. I don't know if his contract ends this year or next year, but he's not going to be a Titan long, and Spears is their future, provided
how much faith do I have in Tajay Spears long term? I released Hassan Haskins from my dynasty team. Remember when Hassan Haskins was going to be the thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hurt 7 times in a season and a half.
Yep.
This is now Tajay Spears is the thing. So yeah, so I can't disagree.
He's only, like I said, he's only $4,800, so you can save a lot of money there. Zeke is another 1,000 at 5,800. If I want to spend some-ish money, you'd have to check as long as he's healthy and he's finally starting to have a good season. Thanks so much for this because it would have helped me in the first couple of weeks. It would be Rashad White. He's 7,000, but that's probably the most. That's the most I would spend on a running back this week.
Do you remember how big I was in the preseason on Rashad White because the guru was huge on him, and I love John, and I trust John. And all he was, Rashad White. And I was like, oh, yeah, Rashad White. Yeah. I was.
Yeah. The first couple of weeks, not so much. No. Nope.
He's starting to show now what we thought he was going to be all year. The problem is it's too late.
Yeah.
So
my season would have been different. I know that much.
I looked at numbers this week too. So let's I think that's excellent analysis. Let's move on to wide receivers. The guru this week is big on the Giants passing game against New Orleans. So he loves Wan'Dale Robinson. He has Jalen Hyatt at 10 points. I'm like, no. No. If he's right, he's putting 12 points on Wan'Dale Robinson at 3,700. That's 3.3x. Wan'Dale Robinson, 7-8 points tops. I'm telling you, you cannot trust the Giants at all other than Saquon Barkley. There are only 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and the Giants running the ball. That's it. That's it. You cannot trust a Giants wide receiver with, but Tommy DeVito. Yeah, I got it. I don't trust him. So I am going to pass on them. So when I look at them and I look at value right this week, I'm looking at names. Honestly, Rondale Moore, 3,400. Listen, high scoring game. He's going to catch some balls. And if he gets to 10 points, he's at value. So I think I'm using Rondale Moore. You know who else finally came through? This is somebody that a lot of experts said to me I had to use last week in DFS. And they were right. And a lot of people listened, because in most of the pools I was in, he was almost 70% owned, was Drake London. I don't know what changed, but Drake London went ape shit. It was like 5x last week. This week, he's up a little bit at 5,400. He's still usable. If he gets to 15 points, he's usable. And they're playing Carolina. So I'm probably looking more stud oriented, honestly. I'm just trying to think. I'm looking at my list of guys. I'm looking for guys. Puka Nacua at 7,300 is usable. Brandon Ayuk at 7,200 is usable. But to do that, I'm going to have to use Rondale Moore at 3,400. I'm going to have to look at Drake London at 5,400. What are you looking at this week in wide receivers?
I think my top pick would probably be Brandon Ayuk at 7,200. Again, it's because there's Saturday games, because I think I'd want to play the full slate of games.
That's what I'm looking at.
You kind of have to be a little bit more careful with who, like a little bit more selective. But if you're going down the list of people, again, like mid-range kind of people, it's a little hard. But like Dotson, like for example, like Kurt, if he's healthy again, Curtis Samuel, for example, is $4,600, and he's averaging like 10 points a game, 10.5 points a game.
And he's playing the Rams. Game that's an over 50 game.
Exactly. The other game I'm looking at, where did he go? He was a little bit, only for me personally, because I had him in our home league and he did not get to the bonus, would be Adam Thielen. He's still, even though Carolina is terrible, he is having a good year. He's $6,300. He's averaging like 15.5-ish points a game, 15.6. So, and Atlanta's defense is not super.
Let me tell you somebody to avoid right now. And this is going to be contrary to previous advice. Avoid Kadarius Toney like the plague. The Chiefs, and particularly Patrick Mahomes, when he gets it in his head that somebody has been mismanaged or mistreated, he loves to force the ball. The game after Kadarius Toney dropped the ball against Detroit in week 1, they targeted him like 7 times to get him more involved. That's an over-exaggeration. I'd have to look up exactly how many times he was targeted. But it wasn't effective. Hold on, I'll pull it up while we're talking live. There he is, Kadarius Toney. Let's see his game log. Because don't forget, he was wide open in week 1. Week 2 in Jacksonville, targeted 5 times, 5 catches, but only for 35 yards. And one of those catches was for 17. So he had 4 catches for 18 yards.
No, good.
He has only been targeted more than that twice, and that was in the middle of the season against Minnesota and against Denver. And both times he never got more than 26 yards. So they're going to force feed him the ball. They're going to throw to him 5 or 6 times this week because they feel like they need to make a point. He's going to have 2 catches for 14 yards and a fumble. Do not use Kadarius Toney. Do not buy into the revenge narrative that I typically like to promote. Normally, I'd be saying to you, go use Kadarius Toney. Go do it. Mahomes carries a grudge. Do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. The hell's that noise?
Yeah, and don't do it. Don't use them in a parlay either. Just saying.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, I think my neighbor came home and turned on the radio for the dog because now there's music coming through my wall. So, the name of this episode is Britt Needs to Move. All right, let's move on to tight end. Tight ends. Oh, I don't like any of these guys either. This has been like the year of the pick the right tight end and win your pool kind of thing. Honestly, I kind of like Tucker Kraft this week because he's only 3K. That's really the only reason. If he gets in the end zone, it's probably value. I can't. I can't with the other guys. Kyle Pitts is 4,000. He's done nothing. Cole Kmet, 4,500. Good luck with that. Travis Kelce, 7,600. There is no universe in which I pay $7,600 for Travis Kelce right now. They are double and triple teaming this guy. Don't do it. So I'm gonna punt. I'm gonna punt on this one. To Craig, tell me what I should do with tight end this week.
Pick one. Hold on, my DraftKings app is being dumb. Give me a second. I gotta open it again.
All right, so you have to sign in with your face.
Yeah, there we go.
And then you have to send them a strong security code.
I think the answer is Darren Waller. No, don't use Darren Waller. He's on IR. Most of these tight ends are over 4,000. Like Kyle Pitts is 4,000. No, no. Wish he was on another team, but as long as he's a Falcon, no. Then you have the next person down is Logan Thomas at 3,700. And then, like, the next two options for me personally would be, like, K. Dotton at 32 or Hunter Henry at 32. Because everyone after that, it's rough. It's really rough.
I think Thomas is out. I'm looking for his player news right now because I've got him projected at 0. Oh, okay. The last 2 games, he's been held to a total of 15 yards.
Oh, all right then.
So the Logan Thomas experiment appears to be failing. That's the reason that's there. But yeah, I'm looking at these salaries. There are 11 tight ends over 4,000. 11. There's only one over 6K, and that's Travis Kelce. And there's a handful of them in the 5K range. I mean, even Trey McBride's up to 5,200. I feel like this is going to be a matchup-dependent week where you just have to pick the right guy. So trust your gut. If your gut tells you you're going to use Blake Bell at 2,500 because Travis is going to get there, I would not be surprised if Andy Reid ran a Blake Bell heavy offense. He's done this before, or Noah Gray heavy offense when he feels like he needs to get things right. Am I going to use them? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, you said the Giants game is going to be high scoring. What about Foster Moreau? Absolutely not. I don't rely on it. I'm just saying the possibility exists. So tight end, I'm absolutely punting on. Defense, draft 1. Wow. Okay. I just looked at my numbers, and the Jets is the number 1 because they're only $2,500 and they're playing Miami. I'm going to avoid that game. Although that was under 40, wasn't it?
Was it? I think it was.
I want to target lower scoring games. I think, honestly, my pick of the week is going to be Chicago against Cleveland. They're only 3,300. So I'm either using the Bears at 3,300 or the Jets at 2,500, but I'm not going beyond that. Help me out. This is just one of those weeks where it's just kind of like use the value running backs and wide receivers you want, get the quarterback that complements you best, and then good luck with the rest. That's how it feels.
What game?
That's how it feels this week. I'm also only looking at the main slate. Is there Saturday games this week, did you say?
Well, I think what they're doing is like they're depending on what you're in, like they're including the Saturday night game with Sunday, and the other 2 Saturday games are separate.
Yeah, you know what? The main slate on DraftKings does not include Thursday, Saturday, or Monday. So I'm losing Chargers, Raiders, Vikings, Bengals, and Steelers, Colts in my analysis here.
Yeah, because they count Saturday night as part of Sunday.
There's a Saturday night game?
That's Detroit at Denver. Yeah, Denver at
Denver
Detroit.
at Detroit.
There we go.
Yeah, they're not on my list either now that I'm thinking about it. So they're not, their main slate is only Sundays 1 and 4. So that's why it seems so tight this week. It's because there's so many games. We're losing 4 games to the Thursday, Saturday bracket. Is there 2 games on Monday again? Is this another one of those weird, freaky Monday deals? No, there's only 1. But I'm losing 5 games out of my analysis. So that makes a little bit more sense. I'm like, why am I not seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown? So I don't know. You know what I do know? We're out of time.
Dun, 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 dun.
So final thoughts. Craig, go ahead.
Final thoughts. Enjoy DFS if you're out of your fantasy playoffs, like I'm probably going to be after this week, and fucking everything. Because when you lose by a point, great. It's wonderful.
Oh, Jesus.
Wonderful.
Here we fucking go.
It's wonderful. It's great. It's super. Okay, I'm done.
Meanwhile, in the exact same league, I had the second worst score of the week, but I played the guy with the worst score of the week. Craig would have beaten either of us.
I lost by 1. Technically 2, because 1 would have tied me.
And now I have a shot at the playoffs if I win and Sean loses. So, my thought of the week is just this is a time of the year where football is everywhere, right? We've got games on Thursday, we've got games on Saturday, we got games on Sunday, we got games on Monday. There is more get days with football than not. Do not lose sight of the fact that it's fucking December and this is the holiday season. Do not stay home during Broncos Lions if you have not started your holiday shopping. We have one mutual friend who I will not name on the air who is famous for running out the door at 3 o'clock on Christmas Eve. I once heard him say, quote, I gotta go start my holiday shopping. It's Christmas Eve. It's 3 in the afternoon. Start? Make sure you spend some time with your family. Make sure you spend some time with the holiday season. The football is a bonus to that. Particularly with these games this weekend. Oh my God. Chargers, Raiders, Vikings, Bengals. Oh my God. Like none of these. I don't want to watch any of these. I don't want to watch Chiefs Patriots.
I don't blame you. Remember in August when you're like, yeah, the Bengals and the Vikings are going to win their divisions.
Bengals and the Vikings win their divisions. I think I called for a Chiefs. I think I called Chiefs Lions in the Super Bowl, which is still possible, but unlikely.
But unlikely. The gap is. No one thought that
It's
Carolina
growing.
would be 1-12. Like,
well, we knew they'd be bad, but I didn't think they'd be
bad.
1-12. I mean, we thought like 2 or 3 wins, but yeah. So,
yeah.
You know how you can win? By leaving us a review wherever you found us. We're on all the different podcast networks and primarily on Apple. If you could just leave us a review, it'd be a big help. You can also reach out to us. We're available through snail mail. Snail mail? Is that what we call email these days? Hold on a second. No, it's still called email. Oh, email. We're available through email at fignutsdfs@gmail.com. And we're also still on Facebook, the Football Fignuts Podcast on Facebook. We are way over time. It's a good thing we took last week off. We have extra storage. We can run those few minutes. But Craig, you and I will be back hopefully next week. I'll either be in the playoffs in our home league or not. The stake bet will be finalized. I will have the results next week. For those who don't remember, during the preseason, the 5 contributors to this podcast agreed to enter a stake bet. The top 2 get to eat for free. The bottom 2 pay twice the bill. And the guy in the middle just sits there and goes, I will have the cheapest steak on the menu because I'm paying for myself. So we will have the results of that next week as well. So until then, enjoy the holiday. Enjoy the football. We will speak with you next week. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. And hi, Deb.